Good morning and welcome back to Yoga with Foz. Today's class we're going to be focusing on opening our chest and shoulders to increase our back flexibility. You might want to grab some blocks if you have them, but if not, I'll do some variations throughout the practice. So to begin with, we're going to start on our mats. If you come to a tabletop position, as we inhale, we're going to come into cow pose. Curling the spine under and tucking the chin into the chest. Exhale, release the belly and lift the chin. Inhale, curl the spine under. Exhale, drop the belly, lift the chin. Inhale, curl the spine, and exhale, release. We're going to start rocking with this motion. As we inhale, curl the spine, and rock back. Lean over the wrists and exhale, bend the spine, rock back. Inhale, curl the spine, rock forwards. Exhale, release the back. Inhale, curl the spine, rock forwards. Exhale, drop the belly and center back. So we're going to keep this motion. Every inhale, rock forwards, and exhale, rock back. And if you find it comfortable, on our next inhale, we're going to come onto our toes, hovering the knees. Kind of coming into a downward facing dog. Just doing some spinal rolls. It's getting our body nice and warm. At any point, you can drop down to your knees and go back to doing the spinal rolls we were doing at the start. And exhale, stay still in downward facing dog. Drop to the knees and come into a wide leg child's pose. And just allow all of the tension to release from the shoulders. Inhale, come to our tabletop position. Keeping the hips in line with the knees, we're going to walk our hands out into puppy pose. Sending our shoulders down to the floor of the mat. Resting the head on our mats. If you're quite far down, you might want to rest your chin on the mat. hold where is comfortable. And inhale, come back to our tabletop pose. I'm going to thread the needle here, so grab your right hand and thread through, bringing your shoulder down to the floor. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, thread through with the left arm. Inhale, come back up to our tabletop position. Curl the toes and exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet here. Inhale, come forwards to plank. Exhale, drop chaturanga all the way to the floor. As we inhale, we're going to roll our shoulders back, pinning our shoulder blades together. Lift the chest in baby cobra. So here you don't want to be resting any weight into your hands. This is all in your back. Keep the glutes relaxed. And exhale, release the forehead to the floor. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Lift the chest in full cobra. Placing weight into your hands here. Pulling your shoulder blades back. Looking up towards the sky. And exhale, bring your neck into a neutral position. And lower all the way back down. So we inhale, we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back, straighten them, and inhale, lift the chest, squeezing our hands together and pulling them as far back towards our feet as we can. And exhale, release. As we inhale, we're going to push weight into the tops of our feet and our hands, pushing up into an upward facing dog. Lifting the hips and thighs off the floor. Keeping the shoulders over the wrists and the chest open. Lift the hips up and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. And hold for 5. And come back to a tabletop position. Lifting the body up. Placing your hands on your hips. And as we inhale, we're going to open the chest and look towards the ceiling. Pushing our hips forwards. And hold where you feel comfortable. And inhale, come back up. So using that same motion, we're going to go a little bit deeper. So if you curl your toes under, as we inhale, push the hips forwards and lean back. And try and drop your hands to the back of your heels and open the chest. You can drop the head if you want here, or if you want, you can just keep it up, looking towards the ceiling. Inhale, place the hands on the front of the hips and come all the way up. On our next, we're going to do camel pose 3 times, and each variation you can go deeper if you feel it's comfortable for you. If not, just stay where you are, either just holding or placing your hands on your heels. This time, if you can, we're going to place our feet flat on the floor. And inhale, start to lean back, push the hips forwards, and grab for your heels. Keeping the hips pushing forwards. And inhale, come back up. And one more time. As we inhale, push the hips forwards and look up towards the ceiling. And place your hands on your heels. Unclench the glutes here. And inhale, come back up. Come down to a seated position, spread your knees wide and walk out into a wide leg child's pose. As we inhale, curl the toes and push back into downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your knees forwards and come into a seated position and lower down to your back in the middle of your mat. Keeping our hands flat on the floor, we're going to come into some glute bridges. Hips, feet hip width apart. As we inhale, we're going to lift our hips up. Inhale, roll the hips up and think of lifting your spine off the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. And hold at the top. And exhale, roll the spine back down. Again, vertebrae by vertebrae. Until your hips reach the floor. once again, lift the hips, roll up. This time come onto your shoulders, so interlace the fingers underneath the glutes and just rock up onto your shoulders and push your hips that little bit higher. And hold. And exhale. Release the shoulders and roll the spine down. And this is the process that we're going to be doing for our bridge. So if you can, bring your hands with fingertips facing your feet as close to the shoulders as possible. And as we inhale, we're going to push up, doing our glute bridge. Hold, and then the next inhale, push up through your hands, coming to a full wheel. And we're going to come down the same way. So exhale, release your head and neck to the mat, and then roll down your spine. This is the safest way to get in and out of bridge. If you come down too quickly, you risk really injuring your lower back. So always think of it like a two-step process. Hips and then shoulders. As we inhale, lift the hips. Next inhale, lift the head and shoulders. This time we're going to start rocking. So rock towards your feet and to the back of the room. This will just increase your shoulder flexibility. And exhale, come back down. Head and shoulders first, and then hips. Roll out your wrists here. So a lot of our wheel strength comes from our shoulder flexibility as well as our wrist strength. It's always really important to try and warm up your wrists every day. I'm going to do this one more time. Inhale, lift the hips off of the floor. And inhale, lift the head and neck, pushing our chest towards the back of the room. If you can, walk the feet in as far as you can, but keep your feet flat on the floor. And exhale, release the neck and shoulders to the floor and roll the spine back out. Give your wrists another shake here. And bring your toes in towards your chest, grabbing our big toes with our peace fingers. And exhale, come to happy baby pose. And here you can rock from side to side, just to help release our lower back. And exhale, release the legs to the floor. And stay in Shavasana for just 5 breaths. Just allowing the body to release any tension. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. pull your knees in close to the chest and rock up to a seated position. And now we're here, we're going to start practicing a bit of a deeper back bend. So where you are in your practice, this might not be viable for you. If you're struggling with bridge, I'd grab your blocks and practice doing your bridges on the floor and keeping your feet pushing into a block, and then your wrists pushing into a block as well, just to keep that alignment, because our first instinct is to spread out, and that's just due to poor shoulder flexibility. And this one we're going into a bit of a deeper stretch. So there are two options to get into this one. You can start off on the floor, coming into our bridge. So inhale, lifting the hips and then the shoulders, stepping the feet in and lowering down to your elbows. To get out of this one, cradle the neck, lower the neck and shoulders to the floor, and then the hips. Option B is starting from a shoulder stand, an elbow stand even. So coming down to your knees, placing the shoulders on, the elbows on the mat, coming into dolphin pose, and when you're ready, kicking over into elbow wheel. And here, this just gives us a bit of a deeper stretch, especially in our shoulders. And if you can, kick back over and come into a wide leg child's pose. So you can choose either option that suits you here, either continuing with your wheel, going from wheel and dropping into a forearm wheel, or choosing to kick over from an elbow stand. Wherever you are, get ready to come up into your wheel. So inhale, either come to dolphin stand or to wheel. And your next inhale, kick over or drop down to your elbows. Just pushing your chest towards the wall. And on your next inhale, kick back over or come down, choosing to come to wide leg child's pose or happy baby pose if you're still on your back. And inhale, come back up. And once more going into this pose again, either coming from wheel pose or elbow stand. Prepare for your positioning, coming into wheel or coming into dolphin pose. And your next inhale, push up, drop down to your elbows or kick over. And hold. This one you can experiment, lifting one foot up and then the next. Just where you are in your flexibility. And exhale, cradle the neck wherever you are and lower down. Releasing the hands to the floor. Grabbing the big toes, coming into happy baby. And just holding here. Allowing our lower back to release. And exhale, release the feet. Coming into the center of your mats. Inhale, draw the right leg in. Tuck the knee into the chest and bring over to the left hip. Extending the right arm out and keeping both shoulder blades pressing into the floor. Inhale, come back in. Switch the feet over. Pulling our left knee to our right side. Pressing both shoulder blades into the floor. Here you can use your block to rest your knee on if it's quite far away from the floor. And inhale, bring both knees back in towards the chest. And just roll circles with your knees. And the other way. Releasing both feet to the floor. And inhale, come up into shoulder stand. So roll our knees up towards our chin. And catch the lower back with the hands. Lifting the feet straight in the air. And exhale, release down. I'm going to do this again a couple more times. If you've got long hair and a hair tie, you might want to take it out to alleviate any pressure from your hair tie propping up your head. Inhale, roll the knees up, coming into shoulder stand. And exhale, drop the knees towards the forehead. And roll the body back down. I'm going to do this one more time. Inhale, roll the knees up. And bend the knees towards the forehead. And roll back down. Coming into our Shavasana. If this is putting any tension on your back, just seal the gap by bending your knees, pushing your back further into the mat. roll up into a comfortable seated position. And we're going to release our head to the side, placing a little bit of pressure on it, using our right hand. Keeping the gaze lifted forwards. And release. And inhale over to the other side. Inhale, lift the head towards the ceiling. Dropping our shoulders down. And exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Placing pressure by interlacing your fingers behind the head. Staying seated with a straight spine. And exhale, release. Roll your head, making big circles with your nose. And the other way. Release. Come into eagle arms, so place your right hand on top of your left, bending the elbows and trying to bring the palms together, keeping the elbows lifted. And exhale, release. Placing the left on top of the right, bending and placing either both palms together or the backs of the hands. Exhale, release. Circle the arms up. And exhale, lower through prayer, bowing the head. And that's our class finished today for, introduction into backbends. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have got any questions or any queries or any variations if something hurts a little bit. You know what to do, like and subscribe.